friends and family of Mount of Praise. Today I would like to discuss the idea fully known yet fully loved. And I would like to start with a series of questions. What does it mean to be fully known? And can anyone really fully know you? Some of us are introverted, and as such, we do not wear our hearts on our sleeves. It's not that we're trying to hide something, we're just being who we are. We just don't show everything. Kind of like a good game of cards or dominoes. Some of us are extroverted, we're naturally exuberant and outgoing. We seem to be always on, the life of the party. But surely, there are those deep, sad, dark places that nobody really knows. And it's not that we're putting on a show, we're just doing what we know best, keeping things fun and light. Another question. Do you really know yourself? Do you fully know yourself? It is possible to hide things from ourselves. And I'm not just talking about that extra bit of cash that you stashed away somewhere because you wanted to save, or those important documents that you hid from yourself because you just put them away so well. People who have been through traumatic events, sometimes they suppress them so deeply that they can't remember them. I have said to myself several times, if I were in a particular situation, something really scary or threatening or upsetting, what would I do? I really don't know what I would do. So let us compare our knowledge of ourselves to God's knowledge of us. Psalm 139, 1 to 4 says, You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit down, and you know when I rise. You perceive my thoughts afar off. Now that would be a bit scary for me, and for some of us. Sometimes my thoughts sneak up on me, and sometimes we entertain thoughts that we shouldn't. Nobody else knows, but God does. The verses go on to say, You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, Lord, you know it completely. That same tongue, that according to James 3:8, no man can tame. That is an unruly evil full of deadly poison. Sometimes things come out of our mouths before they register on our brains, and we wish we can take them back. Those things God knows beforehand. God knows the very depths of our souls. Verse 13 and 15 and 16 of Psalm 139 says, You created my innermost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. My frame was not hidden from you when it was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. Luke 12:7 goes on to say, Indeed, the very hairs on my head are all numbered. And as we get older and that task becomes a little less onerous, God knows that as well. He knows you completely, body and soul. And He is probably the only one who does. Now let's turn our attention to fully loved. Now I know this can be an entire philosophical debate, but we want to take our cues from Psalm 139. Verse 5 says, You hem me in behind and before, and you lay your hand upon me. Here we see that love protects. And there are so many other verses in the Bible that confirms this. Verse 8 to 10 says, If I go down up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. Here we see love is consistent. It's with you in the good times and the bad times. Love is not for fair weather friends. Verse 17 to 18 says, How precious to me are your thoughts, God. How vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I am still with you. And I love those verses. It lets me know that God thinks well of us. He's not doing stuff for us under pretense. He's not under duress. He doesn't have an ulterior motive. He actually, genuinely cares. And the icing on the cake can be found in Romans 5:8, where it says, God demonstrated his love towards us, in that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Fully known, yet fully loved. Now let's look at that word yet. Synonyms for yet are in spite of, even though, still. So you are known, yet loved. You're loved in spite of being known. You are loved even though you are known. You are known, but still loved. So that small word yet puts our being known in a negative light. Yes, we have sinned. Yes, we struggle sometimes daily with our shortcomings and imperfections. Yes, we have done wrong and have been wronged. But is that all there is to us? Is that all God sees when he looks at us? Is being fully loved in spite of being fully known a true reflection or the sum total of God's feelings for us? Isaiah 43:25 says, I, yes, I, am he who blots out your transgressions for my own sake and remembers your sin no more. Psalm 103:12 says, as far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us. So part and parcel of being fully known includes your forgiveness, your redemption, and your salvation. But you know sometimes how things resurface. Sometimes it is we who remind ourselves of our shortcomings. And God is prepared for even that. Even though God has said that he has blotted out our transgressions, sometimes we still want to bring it up. And he says in Isaiah 43:26, remind me, let us argue the matter together. In other words, come on and get it off your chest. He then goes on to say, state your case so that you may be vindicated. Vindicated means freed, acquitted, discharged, let off. Would I, Kim, invite somebody to an argument to lose? No. If I say, come, let us argue, and then I invite you to state your case, be assured that I already have my counterattack. I will use this as my opportunity to put the final nail in that coffin. But that's the difference between me and God. He doesn't see justifying us as losing. Justifying me is a win for him. It's a win for us. So let's go back to that line. Fully known, yet fully loved. Let's kick that yet out. And let's replace it with another conjunction. I am fully known and I am fully loved. Psalm 103:13 says, as a father has compassion on his children, so does the Lord have compassion on those that fear him. I know how I love my children. And I don't love them in spite of. I love them just because. And I also know that God loves them even more. He loves all of us. So I will leave you with this final verse from the passage. Psalm 139:14. I will praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and I know that full well. Remember that you're fully known and you're fully loved by God.